Hi guys, Adesha I live right here, and you know my Chinese name, Fei Fei. So on today's episode of what is like being a Black Chinese, I'm going to talk about the genesis of it all, like the departure from Nigeria to the arrival in China. So for me, my flight was scheduled for Thursday, and then I was supposed to land in China on Friday. Crazy time difference, but like I don't even know how to explain it right now. But like on getting to the airport that morning, oh my god, this was even the clothes I was wearing. On getting to the airport that morning, because we had to get there very early, our agent was so like it was so particular about time, and I was like, you guys to be on time so that you wouldn't like you have to go through all the checks and then not get late. So on getting there that morning, I didn't come alone. I came with two of my friends. One of them we graduated together, and then one still in school, got graduated this year. So very sweet event. My parents were there. The other girls' parents too were there, and then everybody was happy, taking pictures. I cannot even tell what emotions I was feeling that day. I wasn't terrified. I wasn't excited. I wasn't sad. Like it was just like I was blank. Like, gosh, I'm so tired. I just want this thing to like. I want to get done with it because we've been waiting for this whole thing for like 2 years, and like there's no, green light, and then we have it, and there's a lot of pressure, and like everything is moving so fast. I didn't even get to say proper goodbye to most of the people I knew. But like at that moment, I just knew my parents were happy, and I was just like trying to be happy with them. And then in my head, I was just like, good, I don't want to miss my flight. I want to get to all the checkpoints as fast as possible. And then just because I don't like being late. And then when it was time for us to go in, the agent told our parents, like, the parents cannot go in with us. We have to go by ourselves alongside the agent, just one guardian. And then it took us through like 1 or 2 checks, but like there was a particular point where no relatives, no one can go with you. It's just you and yourself. This is where this is where it started to dawn on me, like, gosh, I'm literally packing my bags and leaving my family, and then I have my whole life to figure out ahead of me when I get there. Still not terrified, but just like not wanting to mess the whole situation up. And then we get through all the checkpoints. And the funny thing is that the way the airport was designed, because that was my first time being in an airport, and like first time in an airplane. So the way the airport was designed, it was like we were just going from place to place to place to place. I didn't even know when we entered the plane. It was so funny. I could not tell, like, how did we even get, I just know we were just following directions and signs and stuff, and then before you knew it, we were already inside the plane. And I'm sure the air hostess could see, the flight attendant could see that I was genuinely confused, like, huh, we're there already? And then she had to take my ticket and check my seat, and she just pointed like, down that high, let's go there. And I was like, thank you. And I sat down, very beautiful, with this, like, there was this beautiful elderly lady that was sitting down beside me. She, with the look of things, she was like a businesswoman. And then she just looked at me and be like, oh my god, you're so young to travel by yourself. And I'm like, I'm not, I'm actually 20 years old, like not that young, but like look very young. And she was like, oh wow, so you're going abroad to study? I said, yes ma'am. And she was like, wow, best of luck, your first time on the plane? I was like, yes ma'am. And she's like, do you know how to use a seatbelt? I'm like, no. And she's like, actually you're gonna announce it, but I can just teach you ahead of it. I'm like, okay. And she taught me, she helped me with my seatbelt, and the flight attendant announced it. And when it was time for the food, for some reason I was just not expecting them to feed us on the plane. My brain, it didn't register in my brain like they were going to feed us, and my brain was not telling me like, how are you going to survive for 17 hours and you're not taking food into the plane? So when it was time, before the food, oh my gosh, I was so fast. Like I didn't know what to. I didn't know what to expect when it comes to like, the feeling of how the plane is going to be. I've had a lot of people tell me like, oh, the altitude, you're gonna feel it in your body, you're gonna be scared when the plane is moving, just have faith, not fear, blah blah blah, da da da. And I was like, okay. And then when the plane started moving, well, for me, I wasn't sitting close to the window. I was sitting in the middle aisle of the plane in the first flight, like, but the connecting flight, I was sitting close to the window. So, and then it was that when the plane was moving, right, I was feeling it, but it wasn't feeling different. For me, at first, it just felt like as if we were in a bus and it was just moving and moving. And then when it lifted to the sky, I really didn't know until I looked outside. I'm like, oh my god. And I'm scared of heights. I'm like, oh my god, we are up in the sky. But it wasn't like a terrifying fear. I'm like, oh yeah, we are high. I'm so scared. I'm frigid. So I'm like, yeah. And then we kept changing altitude and like that the whole bit. But for me, it just felt like I was in a bus, different kind of bus, anyways. Like this very like a very comfy bus. If there's a name, if that's a good name for it, like a very comfy bus. You cannot hear the noise from outside, but you can hear the engine so loud. And I was like, well, this is not exactly as bad as people would say. Like your first flight, maybe it's gonna be terrifying, blah blah blah. And truly, when the altitude was changing, I could feel it. Like I could tell, like, bam, I guess we moved higher, bam, I guess we moved lower, and then the turbulence and stuff. I felt everything. And now back to the thing about the food. When it was time for the food, I wasn't expecting the food. And when I got my menu, I was like, beef or chicken? I was like, okay, give me beef. And they gave us like this amazing set of dish. That's the best way I can describe it. But trust me, basically everything on the plate I didn't know except the rice and the beef. That was the only thing I was familiar with. And then tasting the food, I mean, on getting to China, then I knew they served us Chinese rice on the plate. The rice tasted so different. It was surprising. There's no word for it. It was very surprising. And then the beef, I could not explain the taste, but I knew for some reason, even if I don't like something, I don't exactly complain about it. I was just chugging it in. And my friends that we took the flight together on the other side of the head, it was looking at me like, yo girl, how are you able to eat this thing? It's not even, it's not that appetizing. I was like, I don't know, I'm just eating. I don't want to be rude and I don't want to waste your food, blah blah blah. And they're like, okay, I get you. But you're really brave. I'm like, nah. Anyways, when we eventually touched down, because we took a flight like Ethiopian Airlines, so when we eventually touched down in Addis Ababa, we had to find our next plane because like connecting flight from Addis Ababa to China. So we went around the airport, followed the directions as we best understood, and good enough, we got to the place where we were supposed to wait for the next flight. And then my friends and I took some pictures. We're able to text our family and be like, oh, we just touched down in Addis Ababa, blah 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 blah. And they're like, oh, that's nice, da da da. And then we got on the plane again. Same old thing. I actually enjoyed the part where I was able to watch movie on the plane. It wasn't exactly that boring. Sitting for like 17 hours wasn't that boring. And then getting to China, when they told us we touched down, now the rush of excitement and disbelief started. I was like, my god, you're already in China? In the plane, I saw a lot of Chinese people and a lot of black people, like a mix of different kind of people. So it wasn't like, but when I touched down and I started seeing Chinese people and I started hearing the language, I was like, oh my god, we're already in China, amazing. And then we had to find our checkpoint, had to find our baggage. But throughout the work in that airport, if not for my friends, I would have gotten lost, because I was just, what's the word? I was amazed. the infrastructure was nice. Sadly, I didn't take any pictures because I was not really a picture person. Like, it was not in my head. Most times I like to live in the moment, not exactly like taking pictures, carry my phone up and down. But like, it was so amazing. I was like just looking everywhere. It was so beautiful. And then when we got to the checkpoint, got our like the baggage, like the baggage claim. When we got there, we picked our bags, and like we had to find an exit, and then we met with some officials, maybe like securities or so. And then they were like, oh, surprisingly they spoke English. Something we're not really expecting, but like, it's Shanghai, it's an international city, so you have people that speak English, especially in those airport official places. You have people that speak English to welcome internationals. So we got there, and then helped us to get a taxi. We showed him the address of our school. We got we got a taxi, and then on getting to the school, another problem. Now we are at a place where we don't even understand the language, and then we have to talk to the security like we're actually students of the school. So the incident that happened there was like, we were showing them our documents and like, oh, you're students of the school. I guess they understood us and they were ready for us to go inside. But since we didn't understand them, we thought their silence means like, you guys cannot enter, And then we just stayed there like back and forth with them, and we're like, oh, until we're able to reach one of our classmates, which was inside, and then she came, spoke to them. A Chinese, really good, spoke to them, and then they allowed us to go in, and she helped us register in the dorm, which was something we were targeting, because if we had arrived there on weekend, we would have to probably go to like a police station to stay in the police station, so we would not get arrested, because you cannot check in an hotel as like just arriving in China, checking in an hotel without a visa, without any official Chinese documents. So luckily for us, we're able to check into the dorm, and then go inside, and they showed us our rooms. I think I'm going to talk about that part in the next episode. But that's it on the departure from Nigeria and arrival to China. Stay tuned for part 2.